this is an iHeart podcast.
Let's be real. Life happens. Kids spill. Pets shed. And accidents are inevitable. That's why you need a washable sofa that can keep up. Our sofas are fully machine washable, inside and out, so you can say goodbye to stains and hello to worry-free living. Made with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics, they're kid-proof, pet-friendly, and built for everyday life. Plus, changeable fabric covers let you refresh your sofa whenever you want. Need flexibility? Our modular design lets you rearrange your sofa anytime to fit your space, whether it's a growing family room or a cozy apartment. Plus, they're earth-friendly and trusted by over 200,000 happy customers. Get early access to Black Friday pricing starting at just $699. It's time to upgrade to a stress-free, mess-proof sofa. Visit WashableSofas.com today and save. That's WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
You know what your customers are doing right this second? The exact same thing you are, listening to me. Which, let's be honest, is kind of flattering. But my point is, ads on iHeartRadio actually get heard. In the car, at the gym, on the couch, while people are walking their dogs. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? You're a good boy. That's right. You're a good boy. So why not make the next ad about you? Get started today. Call 844-844-iHeart or go to iHeartAdvertising.com. That's 844-844-iHeart or iHeartAdvertising.com.
I mean, I knew Gavin for 4 years. I got along great with him. If you take a look at what he's done, so they lost 25,000 houses. Do you know they haven't issued one building permit yet? So these people are trying to rebuild their houses. But he did something. He did something even worse than that. He's now taking a big section of Palisades or some area, and he's going to build low-income housing where they used to have luxury housing. He's going to put low-income housing in. And honestly, I always liked him, but he's a horrible governor.
You're listening to the 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson.
Good Tuesday morning. Nice to have you with us on the 47 Morning Update. America still being held hostage by the Democratic Party. Massive flight delays and many Democrats who are now calling for Chuck Schumer to lose his job. This is the story today. When will the government officially reopen? I have the latest for you on that. But first, I want to tell you about our friends over at Patriot Mobile. Every so often, something happens that reminds us just how fragile our freedoms are. We can't afford to take our rights for granted. We must draw a line in the sand. And our friends at Patriot Mobile have been doing just that for more than 12 years. The truth is, there is only one provider that boldly stands in the gap for Americans who believe freedom is worth fighting for. And that company is Patriot Mobile. Not only are they leading the red economy, they're also outpacing the competition in technology. Patriot Mobile is one of the only carriers offering premium access to all 3 major U.S. networks, giving you nationwide coverage and service that you can count on day after day. They also offer unlimited data plans, mobile hotspots, international roaming, internet backup, and so much more. And switching has never been easier. You can activate in minutes on your phone from your home or your office. And you keep your same number you've got now, keep your same phone, or upgrade to a new one. And this is where the magic happens. Every month, about 5% of your bill is given back to conservative causes at no extra cost to you that stand up for our First and our Second Amendment rights, the rights of unborn children, and our wounded warriors, and those that have fought for our country and wear a badge. So take a stand today. Go to patriotmobile.com/Ben47 or call 972-PATRIOT. And if you use the promo code Ben47, you're going to get a free month of service. That's patriotmobile.com/Ben47 or 972-PATRIOT and make the switch today. It's the 47 Morning Update, and it starts right now.
Story number 1.
We're starting with good news, sort of. Day 41 of the longest federal shutdown in U.S. history. There is movement. Now, there's still a shutdown in the deal points that Democrats are fighting over. This all while there's still chaos in the sky. SNAP benefits are in limbo. And we now know that lawmakers in the House are on a 36-hour return notice. This is the longest ever government shutdown, and it's on the verge of ending. Food aid benefits remaining again in limbo. Why is this happening? Because Democrats are still wanting you to blame Donald Trump, and they believe they have the upper hand. That's also happening while we're seeing massive flight cancellations and delays that are disrupting travelers all over the U.S. and international travelers coming into the U.S. Now, the Senate on Sunday took the first major step towards voting on a bipartisan deal reached between some Democrats, 8 of them, and Republicans and President Donald Trump. Now, this would fully reopen the government until January the 30th, so there's still going to be work to be done after that. The agreement would also keep various other federal benefits, including SNAP benefits and veteran services, funded through the next year. That's a positive. Now, the decision by a small group of moderate Democrats that defected from the rest of their party marked the biggest turning point since the shutdown began on October the 1st. But it also prompted immediate political blowback, as many Democrats are now urging those colleagues to, quote, hold out for greater spending on things like Medicaid and Obamacare. That is what they're doing. So what happens next is the question that so many of you are asking. Well, now that there are 8 Democrats that have signaled support for reopening the government, Congress has to clear a number of procedural hurdles. They could have done this, by the way, on Sunday night. Democrats deliberately wanted it to hurt a little bit longer. This means this could delay things as far as Friday if no one defects. Now, when the new funding deal passes the Senate, which could come as soon as late Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, the package will then have to pass the House of Representatives, which hasn't taken a vote in weeks. Lawmakers in the House have now been put on a 36-hour return notice, as I mentioned earlier. So it would likely take, quote, several days, barring any travel issues lawmakers might experience to get back to D.C. because of the shutdown, for them to even pass any of the Senate bills. The Senate Majority Leader, John Thune, indicated last week that he didn't think the shutdown would last past Thanksgiving. Now, again, you're dealing with Democrats that are wanting this to happen. Now, President Trump has also come out saying he supports the Senate deal to reopen the government that's been brokered between Republican leaders and the 8 Democratic lawmakers, saying, quote, based on everything I'm hearing, they haven't changed anything, Trump told reporters in the Oval Office. And we have support from enough Democrats, and we're going to reopen our country. It's too bad it was closed, but we'll be reopening our country very quickly, Trump went on to say. Now, the agreement would reverse Trump's recent firing of federal workers during the shutdown, but the president suggested he's fine with that, saying, quote, I'll abide by the deal. The deal is very good. So then the question becomes, what's actually in this deal? Let me explain that for you. The agreed to deal as it stands right now would reopen the government until January 30th. It would also include full year funding for several agencies and programs, including food aid, veterans benefits, SNAP funding would continue food stamps through the September at higher levels. It also includes a commitment to vote on a bill to potentially extend the expiring Obamacare subsidies, the tax credits which millions of Americans rely on to help pay government premiums. So that's part of this welfare program, in essence, that happened because of Obamacare. Now, in addition, the deal would reverse the layoffs of thousands of federal workers while barring any potential firing until January 30th. The terminations have been temporarily blocked by a federal court judge. A handful of Senate Democrats have backed the compromise to reopen the government, but it didn't make them any popular with their fellow leftist anarchists that are holding us all hostage. Making this deal is malpractice, is what the New Jersey governor-elect said in a statement. Pathetic is what Governor of California Gavin Newsom said. And most Senate Democrats balked at the compromise. Mark Warner, Democrat from Virginia, said, quote, "I cannot support a deal that still leaves millions of Americans wondering how they're going to pay for their health care or whether they will be able to afford to get sick at all." Now, President Trump is also trying to deal with what's happening in our airports. He has ordered all air traffic controllers back to work. Trump threatening to dock the pay of air traffic controllers who haven't reported to work as flight delays and cancellations have spiked all over the country. He said it this way very simply, quote, "All air traffic controllers must get back to work now. Anyone who doesn't will be substantially docked." Many air traffic controllers continued working without a paycheck during the shutdown. They will get back pay, just so you know. But many have refused or didn't report to airports across the country. That's what prompted the FAA to order airlines to cancel 4% of their flights over the weekend. Trump has urged the controllers who didn't show up for work to quit, and he pledged to recommend $10,000 bonuses to controllers who continued working, saying this: "For those air traffic controllers who were great patriots and didn't take any time off for the Democrats' shutdown hoax, I will be recommending a bonus of $10,000 per person for distinguished service to our country. For those that did nothing but complain and took full time off, even though everyone knew they would be paid in full shortly into the future, I am not happy with you." Now, how bad are the cancellations? Delta Airlines announced it's canceled nearly 500 flights under a government directive during the shutdown, and that all cancellations through November 12th have been completed. The airline canceled 280 mainline flights and 215 Delta Connection regional flights. Additional delays and cancellations, they say, still may be needed to cope with air traffic control restrictions, the airline is now warning. Quote, "Delta teams continue to safely manage our operations and care for customers who have experienced cancellations and delays." United Airlines, this is what they've said. They said it is sticking with the government-ordered flight cancellations through at least November the 12th as Congress debates a potential end to the shutdown. The Federal Aviation Administration has ordered airlines to reduce their flights 4% on November the 7th to cope with strains on air traffic controllers who suffered absences while continuing to work during the shutdown, saying, quote, "We will continue to make rolling updates to our schedule if the government shutdown continues and share the latest information as we have it," the airline said in a statement as well on social media. Now, Republicans say that, well, you cannot hide from the crisis that was created by Democrats. And I want you to hear what Speaker Johnson had to say about the Democrats using the American people as leverage.
Speaker Johnson, I loved your quote. It's the beginning of the end of the shutdown. Very Churchillian. I like that very much. But at the end of this whole thing, they're basically going back to your CR. I know there's a few add-ons here, veterans construction, military construction, but basically they could have just voted yes on your CR in the first place. And I don't understand how stupid this is. And I think millions of Americans are very aggravated over this.
They are, and you're right, it was stupid, to use your word, and my word is utterly pointless. I mean, 40 days, we've had the country wandering in the wilderness because of the Democrats' intransigence, and they've made the American people suffer needlessly. And at the end of all this, you now have a handful of Democrats who have come to their senses. They're prepared to do the right thing, reopen the government. They're going to do, Larry, to your point, exactly what we asked them to do weeks ago. I mean, all of this was really for nothing. And it's so sad that they have used the American people as their leverage, that's their own quote, as pawns in this political game so that Chuck Schumer could have political cover back in New York. I mean, it's really unconscionable.
Now, lastly, there's also another aspect of the shutdown, and that is the civil war that's happening as we speak right now within the Democratic Party. Senator Dick Durbin, for example, openly admitted the Democrats knew the damage that they were going to cause to families by shutting the government down, saying from the floor of the Senate earlier today, "I cannot accept a strategy which wages political battle at the expense of my neighbor's paycheck or the food for his children. Now, Chuck Schumer, and this was the Schumer shutdown, he was forced to do it, held hostage by the extreme wing of the Democratic Party, the AOCs of his party that he's afraid are going to actually come after him in a primary. Well, now Democrats are mad that this deal is getting done. In fact, one Democratic strategist today on MSNBC said this about Chuck Schumer.
Should Chuck Schumer go?
And yet, yes, Chuck Schumer should go. I'm sorry to say Chuck Schumer should go. I voted for him many times. I am ideologically quite aligned with where he is as a senator, but he's no longer capable of running this caucus. He's no longer capable of leading the Democratic Party. I am a lifelong, I am an establishment Democrat, and I'm here to say that Bernie Sanders is much more in line with where I and many other Democrats are today than Chuck Schumer is. And, if you would have asked me that 5 years ago, I would have laughed at you. So that just to underscore exactly how furious Democrats are today for putting the country through this without having an out.
Without having an out. This is the Democratic Party right now telling you how bad the Civil War is. It wasn't enough that they actually decide to shut down the government for the longest period in history. They're now saying Chuck Schumer must go and the extreme of the party should be mainlined. Seth Moulton on Chuck Schumer saying this.
Yeah, and do you think that need for a change in leadership would also extend to Chuck Schumer if you were elected to the Senate? Yes. Would you want to see? Okay. And yeah,
no, I'm not going to run on a new generation of leadership platform here in Massachusetts and then go down to Washington and vote for the status quo. And so I've been very public about that. Again, respect his service, but time to move on. Mm-hmm. And my opponent has not. He keeps dodging the question.
That is a man who's running for Senate in Massachusetts saying, this will be over if I am elected and we will get rid of Chuck Schumer. One more that's also saying the same exact thing. Democrats continuing to call for him to be done, and the media following suit. On The View today, Sonny Hostin saying this about it's time for Schumer to be gone, saying his days are over.
You do something like this, shame on you the first time. You do it twice, 3 times, 4 times, shame on me. Shame on the Democrats for even believing that the Republicans will, even vote on it. There's no guarantee in this New Deal that there's going to be a vote. There's no even commitment to have a vote. So the bottom line is the Democrats went into this after a blue wave out of the American people saying we do want the opposition. We the working people want the Democratic Party to fight for them. And now they just caved and surrendered. I think Chuck Schumer, his days are over.
His days are over. So there it is. Democrats admitting they did it on purpose. They're hurting Americans on purpose. They're delaying opening the government right now, even as they agree to open the government on purpose. And they want it to hurt on purpose. And there is a civil war in the Democratic Party. Chuck Schumer is no longer extreme enough for the Democratic Party. So if you think this was a grand success for Democrats, look at what they're saying about their own party right now. And Donald Trump, as he made it clear today, it's time to get our government back open and get us back to working. And that's the most important thing for so many Americans that are being held hostage by the Democratic Party.
Thank you for listening to the 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson. Please make sure you hit subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. And for more in-depth news, also subscribe to the Ben Ferguson Podcast, and we will see you back here tomorrow.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
This is Jim.
Hello.
Jim started advertising with iHeartRadio way back in April. And now...
I have customers out the door!
And this is Sarah.
Hi.
She started putting a portion of her marketing dollars in podcasting back in June.
Business is booming. That's why I'm working on a Saturday.
Want to be like Jim and Sarah? It's easy. All you have to do is own or manage a business and reach out to iHeart. Get started today at 844-844-iHeart or iHeartAdvertising.com.
This is an iHeart podcast.